Hello, fourth graders, and welcome to week 2 of library at Fiesta Gardens. I continue to miss having you right here in the library with me, but I am still glad that we get to read together. Last time I told you that we would start reading chapter books, and I promised Fourth Grade Rats by Jerry Spinelli. This is a chapter book. It contains 14 chapters, and it will take us a few weeks to read together. Let's begin. Fourth Grade Rats by Jerry Spinelli. Chapter 1. First grade babies, second grade cats, third grade angels, fourth grade rats. It was the first recess of the first day of school. A mob of third graders had me and Joey Peterson backed up against the monkey bars. They were giving us the old chant. When they came to the word rats, they screamed it in our faces. Then they ran off laughing. I wish I was still in third grade, I said. Why, said Joey. So I could still be an angel. Not me. He climbed onto the first bar. I waited 3 years to be a rat. He climbed to the next bar. And now I am a rat. He climbed up to the top bar. He shouted over the schoolyard, "And proud of it!" I started to climb. My sneakers slipped on a bar and I went down instead of up. The first thing I landed on was my hand. My thumb got bent back, way back. Pain. I howled, as loud as I could. It still hurt. I kicked the ground, the monkey bars, the nearest tree. My thumb still hurt, and so did my foot. Only one thing left to do. I cried. Joey's voice came down from the high monkey bar. Rats don't cry. The bell rang to end recess. I jogged, sniffling to the door. When I got there, Judy Billings was behind me. Like a miracle, the pain in my thumb disappeared. For me, there was no such thing as pain when Judy Billings was around. I loved her. I was sure that day she would start to love me back. In the meantime, she mostly ignored me. But I kept trying. Judy was in the other fourth grade class, so I didn't see too much of her. When I did, I figured I had to make the most of it. That's why I held the door open for her. She went through. As usual, she ignored me. I didn't care. For 1 second, she was only inches away from me. Heaven was a trainload of those seconds. A little later, during silent reading, a spider crawled onto Becky Hibble's book. Becky screamed, "Ah!" and flipped her book into the air. The book landed on the floor. The spider landed in my lap. Next thing I know, I'm on my desktop, tap dancing and yelling, "Get him off, get him off, get him off!" On the way to lunch, Joey's whisper came again. Rats don't get scared of spiders. We sat together in the lunchroom, just like last year, and we both brought our lunches from home, just like last year. We sat at our usual table. I opened my lunchbox. I was checking out my stuff when I heard Joey snickering. I looked up. He was wagging his head. His face was smirky. I looked around the lunchroom. "What's funny?" "That," he said. He was pointing at my lunchbox. "What's wrong with it?" I said. "Isn't that the same one you had last year?" "Yeah, so what?" He snickered again. "Look at it." I looked at it. "So?" "What do you see?" Joey asked me. "I see a lunchbox." "What do you see, a Martian?" He flipped the cover down. "Look at it. What's on it, all over it?" I looked again. "Elephants." He broke out laughing. He pounded the table. His face was red. I had never known I could make him so happy. He tried to talk a couple of times, but he kept cracking up. Finally, he slapped his hand over his eyes and got it out. "What are the elephants doing?" "The elephants?" Yeah. "They're flying?" This time I thought lunch would be over before he stopped laughing. Other kids were looking over. Gerald Willis, a 6th grader and the school bully, threw a French fry at Joey, but that didn't stop Joey from laughing. I unwrapped my sandwich. I didn't have all day. At long last, he took a deep breath. He said, "Right, flying elephants, big flapping ears, doing yo-yos with their trunks." "Some of them," I corrected him. "Other ones have fishing poles." His cheeks bulged with laugh balls, but he swallowed them. "Morton," he made himself serious, "don't you get it?" "Get what?" "Flying elephants on your lunchbox, man. That's little kid stuff." He picked up his paper bag. He wagged it in my face. "This is what a rat brings to lunch." I took a bite of my sandwich. "What do I care?" "That's just it, man. You oughta care." He opened his bag. "If you don't care, who will? Your mom probably got you that box, right?" "Yes, I guess." "Right, moms. They just want to keep you a baby all your life, Suds. I'm telling you, you gotta put a stop to it now. If you leave it up to your mom, you'll be going off to college with a flying elephant lunchbox." I looked at my lunchbox. I'd had it since 1st grade when I was a baby and glad of it. Most of the other kids broke their lunchboxes or lost them, so they got new ones every year. My lunchbox kept rolling on. The elephants were fading and some were even starting to look like hippos. But I loved my lunchbox. It was like a brother to me. Now that I thought about it, I wasn't even sure I could eat lunch at school without it. And as for my lunchbox going off to college with me someday, well, to tell you the truth, I didn't see anything so bad about that. I looked at Joey. He was wagging his head and smirking again. Uh-oh, I thought. It's not just the lunchbox. Chapter 2, Real Meat. "Okay," I said, "now what?" He pointed. "That. My sandwich?" "You're going to eat peanut butter and jelly all your life?" "Why not?" I said. "I love it." I took another bite. He sneered. "Yeah, right. I can see it now. You're in this big fancy restaurant with all these fancy big shots, business people, and everybody's ordering their dinners, and the waitress comes to you and you say, 'Duh, I'll have the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, please.' Right, Morton. They're really going to be impressed with you." "So what am I supposed to be eating?" He laid his sandwich on the table. He opened it up. "Bologna. Meat, Morton, meat." "I eat meat," I told him. There they are having lunch. "I eat meat," I told him. "Real meat, Morton. Ever eat a steak?" I thought about it. "I don't know, maybe once." "Ever eat a pork chop, a roast beef, a liver?" I put my sandwich down. "You're ruining my lunch by talking about liver." He looked proud. "I ate a bite of liver last night." "You're lying." "Swear to God." "You didn't get sick?" "Nope." "How'd it taste?" I shuddered at the thought. He made a face. "Oh, it was terrible." "Terrible? So why'd you eat it?" "You're sillier than I thought." "Not as silly as wanting to be an angel baby all my life. You want to grow up? You gotta eat stuff you don't like. And I'll tell you something else." He leaned across the table, getting real serious. "It's an idea of mine. The worse it tastes, the faster you grow up." Now it was my turn to laugh. Yeah, right, Peterson. All I gotta do is find a dead skunk and eat it, and poof, I'll be 30 years old. He slapped his sandwich back together and took a chomp out of it. Forget it, man. You want to be a baby? Go be a baby. He went on chomping. I didn't feel like having a fight. I said, okay, maybe I'll ask my mom to make me a bologna sandwich one of these days. I don't care, Joey shrugged. Say, I said, where does bologna come from anyway? I was trying to picture herds of bolognas roaming around the ranches. I never got an answer. The bell rang. We packed up our lunches. We didn't even get to eat most of them. As we headed out, I wondered if anybody was looking at my lunchbox. At the door, we bumped into Mrs. Sims. She was my third grade teacher. I really liked her. She never exactly said so, but I think I was her favorite student. I hadn't seen her since school ended back in June. Suds Morton, she went. How's my big fourth grader? She held out her arms. One thing about Mrs. Sims, she gets physical. If she decides she wants to hug you, there's not much you can do about it. So I just walked into those arms and let them wrap around me. How are they treating you up there? She said. Well, the teacher is okay, I said. She barked off. She looked at me. You mean something's not okay? I felt a little squirmy. Well, it's not as much fun being a rat. At first, she didn't understand. Then she got a big smile. Now, don't be glum. Before you know it, fourth grade will be over and you'll be, what's fifth grade? Monkeys, I told her. Of course, monkeys. You'll be a monkey. She hugged me again. She whispered, and don't forget, you'll always be an angel to me. She laughed and sent me on my way. In the hallway, I felt a hand on top of my head. Was Mrs. Sims following me? I turned. It was Gerald Willis. Remember, he's the bully in sixth grade, who was born a rat. His lips were puckered. They were making kissy noises at me. Ooh, little Sudsy, my little teacher's pet. Where's my apple? Didn't you bring me an apple today? Before I could do anything, he swiped at my lunchbox. The cover sprang open and everything fell to the floor. And my half-eaten peanut butter and jelly sandwich, my pack of pretzels, my cupcake, and my apple were all on the ground. I scrambled after the stuff on my hands and knees. Kids' feet were everywhere. Somebody crunched my pretzels. As I reached down for the apple, a big, dirty sneaker kicked it down the hall. Above me, Gerald Willis was howling. Ha! I was the last one back to the room. I stashed my lunchbox and sat down. A note was waiting for me from Joey. It said, "Swings after school." I looked over at him. I nodded. Next time, we'll read chapter 3, number 1. And remember, Joey and Suds, our main character, will be meeting at the swings. This was 4th Grade Rats by Jerry Spinelli. And next time, we'll continue with chapter 3. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye-bye.